but first get out your pitchforks and torches. Time for tonight's worst persons in the world. The bronze to Shelley Stockwell, executive director of Stockwell Prep, a charter school in Brighton, Michigan. She suspended student Corey Keir for 10 days, told him to find a way to raise $1,000 to compensate the school for its trouble after he designed a cover for the school yearbook that Ms. Stockwell didn't like. Probably because Corey misspelled the name of the school, spelled it Shockwell. All right, maybe not the brightest kid in the school, but as he points out, at least 10 other students and teachers also looked at the cover before they printed the yearbook, and none of them noticed his mistake either. The runner-up, televangelist Glenn Beck. Did you know slavery was caused by big government? It's true.
It also took a long time to start slavery. And it started small, and it started with seemingly innocent ideas. And then a little court order here and a court order there and a little more regulation here and a little more regulation there. And before we knew it, America had slavery. It didn't come over in a ship to begin with as an evil slave trade. The government began to regulate things because the people needed answers. They needed solutions. It started in a courtroom, and then it went to the legislatures. That's how slavery began. And it took a long time to enslave an entire race of people and convince another race of people that they were somehow or another less than them.
In fact, America was born with slavery, and the lack of government regulation is what allowed each state to decide for itself whether or not to let it continue. And heavens forbid, but the Fugitive Slave Act, which required the return of any escaped slave and made it a crime to help an escaped slave, that was signed into law by the foundingest father of them all, George Washington. And any claim that it didn't come over in a ship to begin with as an evil slave trade would be a silly statement, even if it came from a 9-year-old child. My heroes Bob and Ray once conducted an interview with an imaginary author named Alfred E. Nelson, whose History of the United States book included such details as Abraham Lincoln driving to his inauguration in an automobile, and that the first capital of the country was at Bailey's Mistake, Maine. Mr. Nelson admitted that as he wrote the book, he had relied on his memory of his schooling, which had ended in the 8th grade, but he kept pointing out that its merits were its 1,100 pages and exquisite leather binding. Glenn Beck is Alfred E. Nelson. But our winner, Governor Rick Perry of Texas, the Dallas Morning News has a searing analysis of what he means when he talks about smaller government, government in which he takes taxpayer money and hands it directly to those who donate to his campaign. The paper has found in government records that more than $16 million from Perry's Emerging Technology Fund has been awarded to companies whose officials or investors are large donors to Governor Perry's campaign. Sadly, for this oversized symbol of Texas corruption, this is no accident. The Emerging Tech Fund was not only created by Perry, the award's not only shrouded in secrecy to supposedly protect the company's intellectual property rights, not only administered by his office, but by law he must personally approve each dollar awarded. Say, partner, why don't you follow through on that secession idea of yours and secede yourself right out of that office? Governor Rick, $16 million, and what do you get? Another donation, and Texas is deeper in debt. Perry, today's worst person in the world.
Well, the blessed 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and